Good evening. Happy Thursday. And welcome once again back to the Man Cave. It's that time of week again. Brother Jeff from sunny Florida and Tanya. Oh boy, we got the in-house crew here. Ryan. All right. Glad you could make it in here with us. Let's see. It's that time. I'm trying to get everything organized here. Sorry. Tar Heel, glad you could make it with us. Uh Here we go. Honorog, glad you could make it in with us. Honorog was saying earlier he had already poured him a glass of Heaven Hill.
He's having mine tonight.
Is he having yours?
Yeah.
I'm going to hit the Larceny tonight. I think I haven't had this one open lately, and it's a really good one. This is Larceny's barrel proof, and out of all the barrel proof bourbons I've ever had, this is the smoothest drinking high proof bourbon that I've ever had my hands on. It's so smooth in terms of alcohol. You need to be careful with it. It'll sneak up on you. Hey, Mike. Mike's probably getting. He's either coming by my neighborhood or he's already been by it. If he's going to Asheville. Robert, glad you could make it. Glenn's Creek kicks off Wednesday in the spring. Russ, glad you could make it in with us. Jeff's not. Jeff's on some medication, so he's not drinking with us tonight. So I'll just say cheers to the rest of you who are having a drink here
Cheers.
with us tonight. Oh, very good stuff. Wheated bourbon. Super smooth drinker. We've had some nice weather here this week. It's been, we had 80 degrees earlier this week. I don't remember which day it was. It may have been, it was either Monday or Tuesday. We clocked over 80 degrees here, which is out of the ordinary for us in February. We've had 2 days this week where I've had 40-degree temperature swings between morning and afternoon. That doesn't happen very often here either. Uh, that's a pretty big temperature swing for one day. Uh, I don't particularly like those days because I dress in the morning. If I leave, I'll put on a sweatshirt or something and I'll regret having worn a sweatshirt by lunchtime. So
It's
I'm ready
called
for the,
layering, John. Layering.
yeah, I'm ready for the, I don't know, winter's not over yet. It's
No.
February and we've had some of the coldest temperatures we've ever experienced in this area come in February and early March. So we've still got plenty of cold weather coming probably, but I can't say that for sure. It's it's that time again. Anyway, thanks to those of you who have donated. I get at least one contribution a week and I really appreciate it. Uh any donations that you feel like sending my way are used to support the cost of running this live stream, and any leftovers a lot of times go towards extras like the things I might be cooking or any product demos that we might do here. I put some of it towards the RFX when I bought that system, and I haven't bought any new hardware lately. So maybe sometime in the near future, I'll find some other piece of hardware that we want to look at and do a review of. But I'll put this information back up on the screen a little later. And once again, I do appreciate those of you that have contributed. It's very helpful. Tanya, what's going on in your world up there this evening? Are you working or are you entertaining the cat?
I'm always working,
Uh,
solving student problems. So, I just had a
Yeah.
student who went to get their financial aid, and it was like nothing. And they were like, "Dude, I'm registered for 6 hours. It says I'm not registered for 6 hours." So I was troubleshooting that
Alrighty.
to make sure that they get their financial aid straight.
Well, I'm going to bring you back a little bit later, and Jeff and I are going to talk about wings again tonight. So we'll have you back here shortly. Yep. Wings are a favorite. I mean, that's pretty much a staple at game day parties. Everybody,
Oh yeah.
lots of people like to make wings, and I can understand why. They're easy to do. There's a variety of things you can do with wings and the way you prepare them. You and I have spent a lot of time perfecting or coming up with what we consider to be the perfect wing cook, and I think we've both gotten pretty darn good at it. Uh, I don't do it that often because, like Tanya doesn't eat them, and if I buy chicken wings, I have to eat them all myself, which is not a problem.
I was gonna say, and the
Yeah,
problem is, it's
well, I don't do it that often. I actually ate wings for
a good
lunch
lunch
today.
meal.
I made that into my lunch, and I got lazy this week on my cooking for the live stream. I didn't do it till today, and I had some other things going on this week. Well, I won't say going on. My priorities this week have been in a little different order than normal. I've been spending time doing things other than cooking this week. So,
Have you been playing with your guitar, John?
well,
Guilty.
yeah,
Busted.
I've been doing that. So, uh, let's have a look at Jeff's wing pictures here. What do we got going on here, Jeff?
Okay, this is all the ingredients you need for a homegrown teriyaki sauce. And it
So, what do we
starts
have
off,
there?
starting from the top left-hand corner, you've got half a cup of tamari, a quarter cup of brown sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of freshly minced or grated. Why do we keep going in and out? Ginger, 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of honey, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, 3 tablespoons of mirin, and then a quarter cup of water mixed with 3 teaspoons of cornstarch.
All
Then you
right.
just throw that all together in a bowl, in a pot. Put it on until it burls.
So you put the cornstarch in immediately
Yep, yep. Just put it all in there and let it come to a boil and simmer it. And
and just kind of watch it till it thickens up.
yeah, I
You're
mean, as soon as it starts to boil, I mean, it thickens just like that. So
right.
you got to be
That's
right
because
on it.
yeah, yep. The cornstarch. Once the
Kicks.
cornstarch gets hot enough,
Yep.
it actually will start before it boils with cornstarch. Cornstarch uh, starts acting at I think 165 somewhere along in there. Uh, so how did you prep your wings?
Did the standard. I take them out of the package, pat them dry, put them on a rack on a sheet pan in the refrigerator overnight so they
Mm-hmm.
dry out nicely. And then for my rub for these, I used Lane's Kunami because it has kind of an Asian flair to it,
Yep.
which works very, very well.
That
So I just,
Kunami is a fantastic rub.
it is. It's got great Unami to it. I mean,
It's one of my top three from Lane's.
oh, absolutely.
Yep.
My top three from Lanes is the Kunami, the Spellbound,
Uh-huh.
and his um, oh well, what's the other one? I'm looking at it and I can't read it. Anyway, there's the third one.
You and I
But
are about in the same boat, but that third one for me is the SPF 53.
mine's the I think I said SPF. I use the SPG.
That's yeah. He's got that's his all-purpose.
Yeah.
Yep. So you just season you dried these things overnight in the fridge and you
Yep.
season them and toss them on.
Yep.
Are you cooking over direct heat here?
Yep, all direct heat. I'm running right at 450 degrees
Yeah.
because I want to get just a little bit of char every now and then on
Right.
them. And
Yep.
I just keep turning them about every minute or so
Mhm.
till they're done.
Yep. And
And I should have had a
just
picture of them. You know, I put them in a bowl and I throw the teriyaki sauce in there and toss them. But uh, that teriyaki sauce, that if you guys like teriyaki sauce, you really need to give that one a try. It's
yeah.
super easy to make and it really, really has a good taste to it. The only
Did you
thing
go
that I
back?
think,
Did you go back to the grill any after you sauce those?
no, no.
Nope. Just
Uh,
awesome.
Too much sugar in the teriyaki sauce,
Right.
you'd really have a good chance of burning the sauce. That's
Yep.
why I'd rather just for teriyaki, I'd rather take them off and you know toss them in a bowl with the teriyaki sauce and spin them around and serve them.
Those look good. Is
They were
teriyaki one of
excellent.
your favorites for wings?
Yeah, it is because Kathy doesn't like hot stuff anymore, and this has just a very slight hint of heat, but it's got a nice sweet to it, so it really balances it very well.
Right. They look good. Teriyaki is not. I love teriyaki sauce. I don't know if I've ever. I can't remember if I've ever put teriyaki on wings before. I've probably had wings that had it on it, but I don't know if I've ever made any with it. It
Well,
would
you
be. It would be.
need to give that a try, John. That
Yeah.
sauce is excellent. The only thing that next time I do it, which we were talking about before the show started, is I think I'd add some sesame seed to the sauce.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about that because I was telling you my favorite, one of my favorite grocery store variety teriyaki sauces is that one called soy vey.
Hmm.
It's got sesame seeds in it. It's Tanya turned me onto that. She had some somewhere, and I used it on something we were cooking. I think I actually used it on some pork chops and some cabbage steaks that I did on the
Hmm.
soapstone on the Kamado Joe one night, and it was really good.
Well, with
And
that teriyaki sauce, I took what was left over, and then last night I had pork stir fry and
right,
used the teriyaki sauce in that, and came out absolutely fantastic.
I bet so. How long did your cook go? How long did it take?
For those wings,
Mhm.
maybe 30 minutes, maybe.
Yeah. All right. Those look fantastic, Jeff.
I get,
Let me see if I can get mine up here. I started mine off. I made a glaze more so than a sauce. And this is a type of glaze I've done quite a few times before, but this is all that goes in it for the most part. Uh, I like to make fruit glazes, and I've got a recipe. I think I added the recipe screen in here. If I didn't, I will add it before the end of the live stream. But I started out basically with that whole jar of pineapple preserves, and that's like a 14 or 15 ounce, or maybe I can't remember how big that. It's at least 15 ounces of pineapple preserves, and I like this Lane Spellbound, and I just opened this bottle of it today for this, and a little bourbon, a little lemon juice, and this in this dish right here is just some of the rub. I used about a tablespoon of that, and here on the left I have dried habanero peppers. These are some of my homegrown habaneros that are very finely diced, that are dehydrated, that I keep in a jar, and I just pull them as needed. And for this particular recipe, that's approximately the flesh of one medium-sized habanero pepper. Um, I didn't really measure the amount. It's may if I had to measure that as an amount, I would probably call it half to 3/4 of a teaspoon of dried habanero flake. You can use any kind of pepper you like. If you don't want to use habanero, you can use serrano, you could use jalapeno. Any of those are going to work good in a pineapple glaze. You can use whatever kind of pepper you want, or you can leave the pepper out, or you could use cayenne pepper powder if you wanted to. It's just if you want a heat on the back end of this sweet glaze, that's the way to get it. So I dumped the pineapple preserves into my saucier, and then I added in 3/4 of a cup of bourbon, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and then that tablespoon of rub, and then the habanero peppers, and I just mixed all that up, and I brought it to a simmer. And once I got it to a simmer, I let it simmer very lightly over low heat with the lid off for about 5 minutes to cook the alcohol out. And it doesn't take very long to cook the alcohol out of this. And any that's not cooked out is going to get cooked out on the grilling process. So once I had it to a simmer like that, I just kept this sauce warm until I was ready to go to the grill with it. Once I had it where I wanted it, and this is a rather soupy consistency. It's not thick. I wanted it runny. I didn't want to put a heavy coat of sugar on the wings. So this is a fairly loose sauce. I just put my precision oven on the lowest setting and put this in the pan with a lid on it and just set it in the oven to keep it warm until I was ready to go to the grill. So I bought these chicken wings at Walmart. They're this Tyson brand chicken wings that they sell out there. I always buy the whole wings instead of buying the pieces. And I cut them down myself, but there were, I think, 14 to 16 wings in this package. And I don't know if $3.28 a pound is a reasonable price. Jeff, did you buy whole wings or did you buy cut ones?
I get them from Costco, so they're cut.
Do you know what they cost per pound when they're cut that way? Or is it just a bulk bag?
I'm thinking they were right at. I think they were right at $3.99 a pound.
So they may be a little more expensive to get them cut already, but the other reason I like to cut them myself is the drumettes and the flats. When I cut the wing myself, they tend to be larger pieces than the ones I get when I've bought the cut wings. I don't know that they're actually better, but I'd have to compare them sometime. Maybe that'd be something else fun to do. So I just dumped these out on my plastic cutting board, and I took my boning knife, and these are very easy to come apart. You don't have to cut through any bone. You just go through the joint with the knife, and the knife will go right through those joints. I take the wing tips off first, and then I split the flat and the drumette, and it took me, 3 minutes to run through. I had 7 wings here, so I've got 14 pieces of that are going to be used, and I vacuum seal these wing tips because I'll use those the next time I decide to make chicken stock, if I ever decide to make chicken stock again. I've been pretty happy. Tanya and I have become quite fond of this better than bouillon stuff, so I haven't made any stocks lately.
Yeah, better than bouillon. That stuff is great.
It is,
and it's not really that expensive.
Well, it's better, in my opinion, than any boxed or jarred or canned stocks that I've ever bought. And I can't sit here and tell you that any homemade stock I've ever made is any better than those. The only thing bad about those is you can't control the salt in them. They're salty. If you
buy the low sodium one, John.
I haven't seen the low sodium ones. If they've got those,
they got them at Costco. That's what I get is the low sodium ones.
They don't have them in my local grocery store, I don't think. I may try that next time because I would rather, when I buy chicken broth, I usually buy the low sodium or the no sodium versions where I can tailor it myself and put put it where I want it. So I just broke these guys down and I salted them right here. I just put a sprinkling of salt on both sides of these wings, and then I put them on this rack, and I put these in the refrigerator, and I let these guys dry brine in my refrigerator for about 2 hours. I didn't do it overnight, but I let them go for about 2 hours. And then while that was happening, I made myself a dredge, and I changed up the way I did my dredge this time, and I can't really tell a difference. Today, I decided to use a 50-50 mix of flour and cornstarch. And I was going to see if that gave me any benefit one way or the other over using just flour. And in the end, I couldn't tell a difference. So I will go back to just using flour here. But what I do is I season that flour with the barbecue rub. I put some of the Lane Spellbound in here and then just take my whisk and mix it up. I think I added a little bit more. I didn't measure that flour. This is one of those things you just kind of look at it and you won't hurt. You're not going to end up with too much rub in there because this is only going to be a very fine coating on those wings, and you'll see that here in a minute. So while I had the wings dry brining, I set up the grill. I decided I would use the Huntsman today. So I banked up a pile of hardwood lump charcoal on the right-hand side and put a couple fire starters in there and got the fire going. And then I just set up on my top ring to cook these things on the indirect side. That's one difference between the way Jeff cooked this batch and I cook mine. I typically cook mine indirect. And
mine was a combination. I
right.
move them from the direct to the indirect side.
Yeah. And I set the Huntsman up to run at 425, which I'm good with wings anywhere between 400 and 475. And I just arbitrarily chose 425 today, and that's where I stayed. So when I took my wings out of the refrigerator, I kind of patted them dry with paper towels, and I put them in a bowl and tossed in just a little bit of olive oil and tossed those wings and just got a very thin coat on there. And then I dredged those wings in my seasoned flour. And I let those sit for a few minutes. And then I took those out and I set them on the indirect side of the grill. And I'm planning for this cook to take about an hour. So I closed the grill up. Or before I closed the grill up, I tossed on 2 small pieces of hickory to put a little bit of smoke in it. And, well, that's just a picture of the grill. About 30 minutes in, you can see the color I've taken on here. And it's starting to crisp up, but it hasn't fully crisped up yet. But it has taken on some nice color. And at this point, I just flipped the wings. Or there's a close-up picture. You could see how the crunch is developing there, but it's not quite there yet. So I flipped these guys over and let them go for about another 25 minutes. I think I was at about 55 minutes when I was happy with the way these things looked. And you can see here that texture. I don't know if you can hear them crunching from there, but these wings had a nice, that flour on the outside with that little bit of oil gives these things a nice crunch. Well, those aren't the best pictures either, but they came out extremely well. So I pulled them off the grill at this point, and then I poured in a little bit of our sauce that I had been keeping warm. There's about a quarter of a cup there. Maybe, yeah, right out about a quarter of a cup of that sauce. And I just dumped it in on top of those and then tossed the wings in my little bowl. And then I went back to the grill to the indirect side and I closed the lid and gave those about 5 to 7 minutes for that sauce to tack up. And well, I've got two pictures there. They tacked up nicely.
Yeah, those look great.
And I let them sit there for about 5 minutes, and then after they rested, this is what they looked like.
Mm.
I don't know what happened to them.
Cat got to them.
Well, no, I ate them for lunch. They were really good. That was lunch today here at the man cave, and this glaze today I had what pineapple habanero. That you know what my recipe slide's not here. Let me. Well, that gummit, I can't add it from here because it's on my other computer. I'll give you the recipe. It was that one 15 or 16-ounce jar of preserves, 3/4 of a cup of bourbon. Uh, Let me go back to the ingredients picture here. If I make sure I tell you everything I used, give you the right quantities. That whole jar of preserves, 3/4 of a cup of bourbon, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, 1 tablespoon of rub. You can use more or less rub, but the rub, if you don't use rub, you need to use about uh, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. You want to add a little bit of salt to this, not a whole lot, just a little. And then whatever kind of hot peppers you want to add to it, and let your tongue guide you on that, I suppose. If this ends up hotter than you like it for some reason, you can tone it down by adding more preserves if you want to. And this base right here, you can go 50 different directions or more with this by changing the preserves you use. And as you see, I made way more than I needed. Uh, that This glaze works great on pork, and it works great on ham. You know, if you're going to do a twice smoked ham, this kind of glaze works beautifully on that. And one of the things I like to do, I learned a trick from the Adam Perry Lang book, that book called Serious Barbecue, quite some time ago. I would take maybe a half a cup or 3/4 of a cup of this glaze sauce and spread it out on a sheet pan and have it sitting by the grill. And if you're cooking pork chops, you just periodically pull your pork chop up, or your pork tenderloin, or even your pork loin, and roll it around in that glaze and put it back on the grill for a while, and keep going back and forth between the glaze and the grill, and you'll build up a really nice flavor on the outside of that. Yeah, Janice, I was going to mention that you can use this on ice cream. It does work extremely well on ice cream. Uh, you could put it on a waffle. You know, it is very sweet. It is very sweet, but there is some heat on the back, a little bit of heat on the back end of this one. But even then, it goes good with sweet stuff. It sure does. And yeah, the better than bouillon. That's the stuff.
Okay, this is what
So
you need to go to Costco for, John. You can get it in the
yeah,
21-ounce jars, and I think it's like $6.99 for the jar, and
is
it's
that
50%.
the low sodium one?
Yeah, it's low sodium, 50% less than the regular. And
Yeah.
if your Costco handles them like mine does, it has all six of them. It has the regular
They've
beef,
got it.
vegetable, chicken, and then the low sodium.
Tanya says no.
Mm-mm.
Our Costco doesn't have that.
All it has is the beef and chicken of the regular.
Really?
Yep, it does not have the full on.
I remember seeing those larger jars down there, but I didn't remember if they were low sodium or not.
No, I've got one in the pantry right now. I mean, I picked up, one
You can
in
go on
the,
Costco
So,
online and order them.
well, I'll check into it because I would like to get the. I use chicken broth more frequently than any other broth. A lot of times, if I'm making something that would normally want to have a beef broth, I'll still use chicken broth in it. I
Hmm.
just think the flavor's a little bolder coming from the chicken broth. Uh, yeah, I do too, Janice. You got to
Yep.
keep that stuff in the fridge after you open it. But I haven't tried all the varieties of it. I've tried the beef, I've tried the chicken,
I have
and
not tried the vegetable yet.
Oh
I haven't
boy, I
tried the
use the
vegetable.
vegetable all the
Tanya's got
time.
that one, and Tanya may have the roasted garlic one up there too. I think
Yes, I have that
that,
one.
that
And I'll be 100% honest with you guys. You got to get the ham. Holy
right.
cow, you got to get the ham.
I
Especially
So
haven't
with
seen the
beef.
ham one.
we'll check into
Yeah.
that, but we'll be making a Costco run sometime here in the next week or two because I remember Tanya mentioned it not long ago that she wanted to go. So
Yeah. Well, to be
we'll get down
100%
there.
honest, about it, I'll just be honest about it. I can go to Costco, a lot. That's one of those
I know.
places. Hey, let's go to Costco. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What a great idea.
She may end up going down there this weekend while I'm working and taking her mom with her, but that's
Yeah.
fine.
Hang on, Janice. Let me go. Let me go grab it.
There's a ham variety
Yeah, I didn't
that
realize that there was a ham one.
there is one of the grocery stores we shop at's got about 6 or 7 different varieties of better than bouillon, but I don't think they have the low sodium ones there either, or I don't ever recall seeing them. But what are you
Well,
guys planning for Super Bowl? What are y'all? Are any of you guys having a Super Bowl party or having friends over and going to be cooking? And if so, what are you planning to put on?
All right, gang. I'm actually out of the ham base. It is on my grocery list. But yeah,
Okay,
you got to get the ham base, dude. You
I have to
got to
try
get
that.
the ham base.
What do you use that with, Tanya? What's your
Uh,
preferred?
Pretty much what don't I use it with? The ham base is my absolute favorite. So anytime I'm cooking beans or legumes, lentils, it's going to get ham based. Sometimes when I get a little bit hungry for something special, like, okay, when I was a kid, I loved the country ham and red eye gravy Garrett's that you would get from Quaker. You know
Yes,
what I'm talking
baby.
about?
I know exactly what
So,
you're talking about. Those are good.
yes, those are darn good. And every now and again, I still want that as an adult. And sometimes you can't always find it. Oh,
No,
but
you
you use the
can't.
ham
It
base to make the grits. And it's like, oh,
brings back that memory, huh?
yeah,
I
it does.
remember we used to be able to buy those all the time, and now they're
Yeah,
hard to come by.
now, good luck if you find it. It's like stock up.
well, one of the things I learned, and I know I've told you guys this many times before, and in the cooking classes I've taken, is flavorful liquids. I don't ever hardly use water, period, for anything unless it's baking. You know, baking is a different story, but I like to use stocks or some sort of flavorful liquid in the place of water in about anything I'm doing.
Yeah,
So,
I don't do that a lot for my grits because I'm a
well,
grits
not,
purist.
yep, not
But
just for grits.
when I'm wanting that, I really do that. Like I said, put it in the ham. It's just good on darn near everything.
I'm about to see if I can find that because now that you mentioned the grits for the country ham, we used to have boxes of that stuff in the house.
Dude,
Yeah,
I have been craving that for like 2 weeks now. I've been like, oh my gosh. So, put it in some green beans. The other thing I like to do, okay, so I don't know if anyone else likes different greens and stuff, but hot dog, put some of this in your greens. You really want some good tasting kale or collard greens? Mm.
that's an oxymoron. Good tasting kale and collard greens.
Oh, look.
Ca- Kale
I
can
love
be good
both of
tasty.
those.
Collard greens,
Oh,
I'm sorry, I have tried collard greens. I even went to the what's her name, the black lady, the chef that just passed away from New Orleans. Um, damn, what's her name? She has a restaurant down there, and I tried her collard greens, and they were probably about the best collard greens that I've eaten. But that's still not saying anything.
Well, I will tell you the truth. I don't often eat cooked collard greens, but I am all about making a sandwich with that daggum stuff and wrapping it up with it. Oh, yeah. I
oh no.
love the collard greens raw.
My
raw.
parents love collard greens, and my grandmother used to make them. My mom knows how to do them, but my dad wouldn't let mom do them in the house because it smells up the house so bad. She made all the collard greens get cooked at my grandmother's, and then we just bring them home.
But I like I like it for that. Like, no, I will be honest with you. I eat kale practically every day. I do. I'm all about some freaking kale if it's done right. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
kale is just, you know.
Kale is good. I
Mm,
put kale in my keto uh, Super Toscana.
yeah, like the other morning for breakfast, I do this keto breakfast, and it's got butternut squash, radishes, and kale, a little bit of tiny little bit of onion, a little bit of garlic, and you get it all sautéed up and looking good and proper, and then you fry 2 eggs in it.
Yep.
Jeez. And top it with avocado.
I would love.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, the ham stuff that's lit. That's the one I go through the quickest.
I think Tar Heel just posted that there's 14 different varieties of beta bouillon out. They have
Yeah,
4
there's a
new ones out.
bunch.
Russ did.
Or
Yeah.
Russ did. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a
Okay.
ton of them. I think I've tried just about every single one of them too.
I got to look that up because I got to see what all they've got.
Well, they've got that one that's kind of like the sofrito stuff, and then they've got it's a Mediterranean herbs one that looks good. They got all kinds of good stuff. Yeah, I'm telling you, Janice, it is bomb for breakfast. It really super duper is.
Ooh. They're new ones, John. Check this out. Italian herb,
Yeah,
I've
that's the one
seen
I'm
that
talking-
one.
smoky chipotle,
Yep.
Yeah.
adobo,
Mm-hmm.
sofrito,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have the chicken and the roasted beef and the seasoned
There's
vegetables, the roasted
there's about 3
garlic.
or 4 of those that there's only a few of those that I'm interested in personally, and that's going to start with the chicken, the beef, and the garlic. I haven't tried the ham one yet, but maybe I'll find something to do with that.
That ham one is lit. That's
Yeah.
that's the one I tend to keep the most is the ham.
The ham
Honestly,
one
I
would have been
typically have 4 or 5 in the fridge.
that would have been a good stock to cook the pinto beans in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like to add that to beans. That's
Since
just
I
one of
didn't
my favorite.
have a ham hock when I did those pinto beans. So
Mhm.
That would
Yeah,
have been
it's the
good to have
stuff.
done it without.
I'm telling you, it is the stuff.
Now I'm not so sure about the mushroom base because I make a dynamite cream mushroom sauce. That
is
steak.
it Tanya? Is the mushroom base something clear enough to make the mushroom soup with?
I don't know. I have not tried the mushroom base yet.
They say it's essential for cream of mushroom soup.
Yeah, we don't make cream of mushroom soup. We're talking about the mushroom soup you get as an appetizer at a
The
Japanese
Japanese
place.
place.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
but that I think's in chicken
That
stock.
would be
I
bomb.
think
I think
that
you're right. It's chicken stock with the cut up
with
It
mushroom.
is.
mushrooms in it.
Yeah, I made it one time. Matter of fact, the first Thanksgiving John and I were dating. So he had like lunch with his parents, and then they went to the beach, and then he came to my house for dinner. And I hate turkey, so we had like Japanese food.
We did.
I did like teriyaki steak and rice, and I made the
She
clear
made fried
soup.
rice, and she made
Yeah,
homemade
love
shrimp
that.
sauce.
Say
Yeah.
this last Thanksgiving we had lasagna.
Yeah,
So yeah, we
so
did.
did we. Or was that
But
Christmas we
anyway,
had lasagna? It was one or the
I don't
other.
remember.
I can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
We ate at Mom's last night, and we had what did I make for dinner last night? It's already
You
slipped
made
my mind.
barbecue sandwiches.
Barbecue
and
sandwiches,
then
yeah.
fresh cut, deep
French
fried
fries.
French
Yeah.
fries.
We had
and
French fries and
coleslaw.
pulled pork sandwiches and homemade coleslaw at Mom's last night.
And I had egg salad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom's got a deep fryer, and she wanted me to make French fries in it. And her deep fryer was barely big enough to make enough French fries for 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
But I was gifted a deep fryer last week also, and I'm going to work on my French fry game. That's something I know how to do it. I just need to go through the process a couple of times because it's a 2-stage cook to get
Yep.
perfect French fries, and I've got to make sure I need to get a French fry cutter. I don't I can cut French fries by hand, but it's just so much easier with a
Not only
cutter.
is easier, it's also safer.
Well, I agree. And I took my mandolin down to my mom's
You
to cut
did.
potatoes into French fries, and I hate the mandolin. Eh, I won't throw it away because there's one thing I love to do with the mandolin that you just can't do it any other way, and that's those really finely sliced potatoes for potatoes au gratin.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get rid of my mandolin because of that. But I want to get uh, one of those. They've got these handle model potato cutters that have 4 suction cups on them, and I'm wondering if the one with the 4 suction cups will suction itself down to my stainless steel work table or not.
It will.
I would think that it would, but that table's got all these little micro fine scratches on it from use, and I'm wondering if it'll still seal up well
It'll
enough.
seal right up. Unless
Okay,
it's something really deep, it's going to seal it.
well, then I'll order one of those at some point here because I want to be able to cut potatoes that way where they're all consistently cut. And I don't peel my potatoes for French fries. I like the fries they serve at Five Guys, that still have
Yeah.
the skin on them. And I like to use russet potatoes. And when I went over to Mom's yesterday, she had prepped the potatoes and she had already cut the skin off of them. She had already peeled them. And so I did them
Yeah,
without
she
the
had them
skin.
ready to roll.
Yeah. So that was fun though. I haven't deep fried anything in a while. I think the last time I deep fried anything here was when I made the beignets, and so maybe beignets or something I'll put together again now that I've got a deep fryer, but it's not an automatic one. I've got a Lodge product that they don't make anymore, and I've had this thing for 30 years or better now. It's a saucepan that's about a 3 or maybe 3.5 quart cast iron saucepan that's got a fry basket that goes with it. And I remember when I bought the thing, I paid like $25 for it, but it would have been in the 19. Uh, well, it's 25 years old. I would have bought it in 1998 or 99, somewhere along in there. But they don't make it anymore. And I really wish they did. What Lodge does now is they make baskets that fit in their Dutch ovens. So they want you to use their Dutch ovens for deep frying, which is fine. But this thing's really nice because that saucepan's got a long handle on one side, and you can use it for other things that you might not use a Dutch oven for. But uh, I've got a video somewhere in my archives of making homemade pork rinds, and I use that. I'm pretty sure I used that when I made the homemade pork rinds. I don't remember where that video exists. I don't remember if it's on Man Cave Meals or on Atlanta Grill Company, but it's probably on one or the other. I'll have to hunt that one down sometime. Pork rinds are fun.
All right, John, Jeff, here's a question. Do you guys have a meat slicer in your arsenal?
Jeff's got one.
Yep.
I do not anymore. I gave Jeff mine. I had one, and why, Carl, are you thinking about buying one and looking for some advice? That might be able to help you more if I know that that's where you're headed.
And what do you want to slice with it?
Yeah, the one I had was the brand name was Avantco, and I bought it from webstaurantstore.com, and it was a 10-inch slicer, and it did a great job. I had 2 problems with it. It's a better than average slicer too. It's a very nice, good quality slicer. The food tray on it wasn't big enough to slice a lot of the things that I wanted to slice. I wanted to
Bacon.
slice bacon off a pork belly, and I couldn't have a bacon slice more than like 7 inches long or eight maybe. I had to cut my pieces down smaller on that one. If I had it to do over again, I would have bought a larger one based on that. And the other problem I have is I spent more time cleaning the machine than I did slicing on it, because I never had bulk slicing to do all at one time. And that machine, every time you slice on it, you've got to take the blade off of it to clean it properly. And
Blade, the guard, the food tray.
right, well, I only took the
It takes
blade
you
off. I was
longer.
able to get
It
the
takes
other
you longer to
part.
take it apart and clean it than it does to
Yeah,
do the slicing.
I would think long and hard about buying one of these large slicers. Now, if money is no object, there is a smaller slicer that's an extremely good quality one, and I cannot remember the name brand of it to save my life. But Jeff, it's the ones they sell down at Atlanta Grill Company.
Yeah, I know which one. Uh,
Uh,
and it's not the anchor.
it's
Hang
an
on.
Italian-made
Yeah,
machine, I believe.
let
Uh,
me bring up their website.
but they've got one that I think is a really right tool for home, but it's expensive. It's more money than I would spend on a slicer, but it's if I was going to recommend one to somebody where money wasn't the object, that's the one I would recommend. I've seen them in action. I've never owned one, but it's
The Burkle.
Berkel, Berkel. If you'll look those up, uh, that's
They
going to
have
be the one.
two different ones there. They've got a the 200 is only $5.99, but that one's kind of weird looking. It looks like it sits
The,
on your
the one that I
countertop
liked was
flat.
this the one called the Red Line 250.
Right,
Uh,
that's 1,099
uh,
or 1,079. I'm sorry.
the I'm seeing if I can find it on their website, because it's
I've got it on there. Here. Ah,
it'd be easier if I can. Which website are you looking at?
AGC.
Let me just go there. The That's a really nice slicer. Yeah, this is the one that I think is the one to have. Once again, now that one, I don't know if that one's big enough to do bacon on. I don't think that it
I
is.
don't think it is.
It's a smaller. It's got a smaller food tree on it than the one that Jeff has.
Yeah, I was trying to see if they listed what the food tray on it, the size of it is, and they don't. So
I think it's probably about the same size. This one's just got a smaller blade on it. Jeff's has got a 10-inch blade on it. It doesn't give any of those specs.
no,
But other than being able to cut bacon that's standard length, this thing would be a very nice tool to have, and it's very well made. I don't think the problem with this one is there's nothing comparable to it. I've never seen anything really comparable to that that's less money.
no.
That one's built like a professional, a much larger machine. And Burkle makes larger machines, but this is one for home use that they make. The other one that they have, this guy right here, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, it's the 200 brand. It's kind of weird the way it.
They don't
I
have
don't
a
know
good
what
picture of this machine on the website.
I don't know what really holds it in place while you're trying to run the slicer. But another place where you can go and pick up good used Hobarts is if you have a place in your town that goes around and buys restaurant equipment and then they turn around and resell
Yep.
it. You can usually get a nice quality Hobart for
They're still
six,
eight, nine
seven
hundred
hundred.
dollars.
Well, I've seen them here for $600, $700 for used
Yeah,
one.
but if you're going also when you get those things, they're the deli size slicers. You've got to have a hell of a big place to
Oh,
store the
definitely.
machine. It won't fit on a typical kitchen countertop. You're going to have a a table or something to run it on.
And it better
These,
be a stout table because it'll
yep,
walk.
these Burkles are countertop size. So that's the best answer I've got for you on slicers. I just don't. There's not a lot I do that I don't that I have to have a slicer. If I had a slicer, my wife would be a lot happier because I could slice meats. She likes her stuff really thinly sliced.
I
She,
do.
and I cannot slice it as thinly as she likes it with a knife. I would have to freeze it and then shave it to get it as thin as she likes it. And I don't think the slicer that I had wouldn't slice thin enough to suit her either. So
Well, yeah, if it's any consolation, I really actually struggled to get it sliced the way I like from the deli too. So
yeah,
because you tell them what you want and they're like,
They
"Oh
give
yeah,
you what
no
they give you.
problem." And they give you what they give you. Yeah.
she
So
tells them what number to set their machine on.
I tell them
Yeah,
precise.
yeah,
Not only that, but I ask them which machine they're intending to use because there are
yeah.
machines that are local Ingles, and I know which setting is the correct setting on each one.
Hmm.
Okay, Jeffrey
So
has a question about the Huntsman, guys.
Absolutely, Jeffrey.
Jeff, I
Uh,
love mine so far.
that thing is that thing is tremendous, and it's the quality is just superb. The amount of accessories that they are going to be coming out with, you cannot go wrong with the Huntsman. I'm going to tell you that right now. You cannot go wrong with the Huntsman.
Whenever I'm waiting for the rotisserie accessory to come out, I've ordered one, and whenever I get mine, and I've had a chance to play with that a little bit, we're going to invite Jeremiah to come back. He's been on with us once before, and I'm going to invite him to come back to where Jeff and I can talk directly with him and give him some direct feedback on what we like and don't like about it. It's it's a very well thought out design. It's
That
very
big front
impressive.
door that allows you to add more coal or smoking wood. It just makes you don't have to take your meat off, your grates off, to add anything. You add it through that door. The Venom is flawless. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's rock solid and bringing yourself up to temp. A lot of people, I should say a lot of people. There's been several posts about people not being able to get the correct temperature, get it high enough, and they're just not using enough charcoal to get it going.
Just
And
like any other grill.
not only they're not using enough, they're not allowing their charcoal to go to a full ignite before they start their cook.
It's
I
got a
do mine
learning
in a
curve.
chimney. I do mine in a chimney. I let it come to a
Mhm.
full ignition.
Yeah.
I put just a small amount underneath the chimney to set my fire starter in. Dump it in there, like on that wing cook. When my uh, chimney was fully engulfed, I put it in there. Within 5 minutes, I was sitting up at the 450, 475.
Right.
I mean, it's
The,
that quick.
there's a learning curve, just like there is with any grill.
Yep.
It's it behaves differently than any other grill you have, and you just have to learn it, and it just takes a few tries to get it to get it right. And there's no, I didn't have any issues with it. The first issue I had wasn't an issue; it was a learning curve. The when when you're reading the instructions, it tells you, you oil the inside of it, and then you bring it up to 400 degrees. Well, the very first mistake I made is I didn't put enough coal in there to get it up to 400 degrees. I just took a guess at how much it was going to take based on having used a Kamado, which wasn't enough for this one. So I did it again with more coal and didn't have any problem. But this this is a kettle grill on steroids. It's got all of the same benefits that a kettle grill has, plus a lot of the benefits you get from a Kamado grill. It doesn't have all of the benefits of both, but it's got the benefits that it has makes it a more enjoyable cooking experience for me for a lot of things. I like
It's
being,
become my go-to.
yeah.
It really has.
Well, I will still be cooking on my Kamado grills, but this I when I got this grill, I decided I was going to make it my primary grill for at least 6 months, and most of the cooks I've done have been on this grill. This grill is going to become my go-to grill for direct fire cooking. Now that I have the multi-zone kit, they call that the next level cooking rack system. I can I can get the cooking grate real down close to the coals now. Before that, I wasn't happy with how far away the top grate was from the coals. You had to put a lot of coal in it, or put the coal in a basket and get it all concentrated under one spot to get it really good and hot. But now I can have, you know, I can be 2 inches above the coals with that accessory. But I'm like I said, I'm waiting to get the rotisserie. I want to see what I can do with that, and I don't know. I don't know when that's coming. I thought mine was coming sooner rather than later, but I don't have it yet. Uh, I don't think they've shipped the initial pre-order shipment on that yet.
No, they haven't. They made a couple design changes to it, and that's what's kind of held it up.
Right. So, but yeah, Jeffrey, I'm a fan of this thing. I really like it. Uh, I haven't fully evaluated it. I'm still there's a I've had a couple of minor issues with the app and the connectivity on Android. I don't know if it's a problem with iOS or not. It doesn't appear to be because Jeff
No.
hasn't had the same issues, but Stephen Hickey and I have had similar issues with the app, and I think there's some app development that's still in process. That none of it's a showstopper really, but I've had mine disconnect on 2 different occasions since I've had it. My phone has lost its ability to talk to the grill, and when that happens, I've ended up having to uninstall the software from the phone and go reinstall it, recreate the accounts, and get it back going. I've had that happen twice, and I don't have any explanation for why that's happened. But that's a pain in the ass if you're ready to cook and you can't. It's one of these situations where sometimes technology gets in your way rather than being helpful. So uh, I've learned with this one for now. If I want to use the app to control the grill, I check that before I start. I go out there and turn the unit on and make sure my phone can talk to it. Otherwise, I plan an alternate method, or if I want to run fully automated, I'll cook on a different grill. But that's only happened twice since I've had the grill. But I think it's something they're aware of, and I think it's something there's a fix coming for it probably. You haven't had that issue, have you, Jeff?
Nope.
Yeah.
That thing has been, yeah, because well, we went through all the testing phases with
Mhm.
the iCommand and the connected and whatnot.
Right.
This thing right out of the box has been great. But then again, you have to understand the Venom uh, predates the Huntsman.
Right.
The Venom was designed as an add-in for the Weber kettle, so it's
Right.
been around, and
It's been
the
around a lot
bugs have
longer.
right. The bugs have kind of been worked out of it before it even got to the Huntsman.
Right. But I think, like I said, I think there's a problem on the Android
Android
side
side.
that
Yep.
because Luca has one of these also, and Luca's got an iPhone and he doesn't see it. He's
Yep.
not seeing the problem. I don't know if I don't know what kind of phone Janice has. I'll have to ask
Oh.
her. And but it's not a showstopper, but it's just something you have to be aware of. I've I don't use the app to control my grill very often, but what the fact is, I'm testing this grill. I'm trying to put it through its paces. So when I'm doing that, the app's something I am testing and want to make sure that it works. I don't often have the need to be able to monitor a grill remotely or anything. And with this one, it's just like I operate my pellet grill. I can run out there and I this thing will run without the app. You don't have to have the app to make it work. The only thing that you have to have the app to do is to monitor it remotely or change your temperature settings remotely. Other than that, you can control it all from the unit itself.
Yeah.
You know, you
Well, I've
you
had
can
mine
do
for
that.
over 6 months now, and
Yeah.
I have well over 100 cooks on it. Well
Yep.
over 100 cooks, and it every one has been flawless, with the exception of human air. I forgot to dump the ash pan once, and kind of got choked up a little bit,
Right.
but
There's
that's my
been
dumb fault.
there's been a couple issues with water collected in the ash pans. Mine filled up with water. I had mine. There was a 2 week period where I didn't use my grill, and it was in another one of these periods where we got warm and cold day and warm in the daytime, cold at night. And I had the cover on the grill, and when I took the cover off, there had condensation had happened in the grill because that grill was in the sunlight in the latter half of the day, and underneath that black grill cover, it would get warm under there, I'm sure, and that would create condensation as the temperature cooled down. But
Yep.
that ash pan filled up with water, and um, I don't think that's a design flaw. It's just a fact of life, and you have to be aware that that could happen and make adjustments for it. I don't really need a cover on mine because mine's sitting in a covered area, and after mine did that, I haven't put the cover back on it, and I just let it sit out there. And when I'm not using the grill, I'll leave the exhaust vent on the top open, and there's no water, no condensation of any kind that's happening in there with the top vent open. So Kamados do the same thing, but you don't see the water collecting. You
No, you
know,
get
a
the
lot of
mold.
they get the mold right. There's mold that's happening inside the Kamado grills when they go for a certain amount of time not being used and don't have any airflow going through them. That's a common occurrence in a Kamado, but it's an uncommon occurrence if the bottom and top vents are open where air's flowing through there when it's not in use. So I do that with my Kamado grill. I don't have covers for my Kamados, but they sit under a covered area also, and I leave the vents open when I'm not cooking. I actually leave the lid cracked open. It's better for the gasket and better for the hinges on the Kamado Joes if you just bring the lid down and don't latch it.
Yep.
Just leave it unlatched, and that's what I do there. But yeah, the Huntsman's a winner. It's a the thing that inspires me the most about the Huntsman is it's a grill that's in its own category. There's nothing
Nothing else.
the closest thing I can see out there to the Huntsman is the Weber Summit kettle, and the Weber Summit kettle is a good bit more expensive than the Huntsman, and I don't have any experience cooking on the Summit, so I can't begin to compare the two. Uh, I just don't know. I don't know the differences that are available.
Bottom line, Jeffrey, buy it. You'll like it. Trust me.
Yeah, if you're thinking about it, we have a Huntsman group on Facebook that Jeff has put together. It's called the Spider Grills Huntsman or something like. What's the name of that group,
The
Jeff?
Huntsman by Spider Grills.
The uh, there's quite a few owners in there that are posting. So let me bring that up here and we'll have a quick look.
Yeah, Steven's been posting some really pretty cooks.
Yeah, it's this group, the Huntsman by Spider Grills. There's 242 members in here, some of which are owners, and some of which are people that are going to be owners or want to be owners. So
That's Steven
I don't
Spicy Chicken.
I don't know if that one post should be in there or not.
It's not
But
supposed to
anyway, that's what that looks like. Join in that group, and you can see a lot of things, a lot of what people are doing with it. There's another Spider Grills group that's probably got some content from the Huntsman as well. I haven't looked at that one lately, but
be. Yeah, the Huntsman Owners Group.
I didn't know there was one called the Huntsman Owners Group.
Yeah,
The other one,
they, they,
the other.
they came out about a week before we did.
Uh,
He's only got like, I think he might be up to 84 people now, finally.
there's another Huntsman or another Spider Grills group it's not just for the Huntsman, but it's a Spider Grills Ideas and Solutions, I think. Maybe the one. Yeah, it's got 1,600 members in it. So there might be some content in there on the Huntsman as well. But there are a lot of Venom owners. There are a lot more Venom owners right now than there are Huntsman owners because, like Jeff said, the Venom, the smart controller that's on the bottom of the Huntsman has been available for add-ons as an add-on to Weber kettles for several years now, and it's got a following. There's a lot of people using those on their Weber kettles. Jeff, do they have Huntsmans available for purchase right now?
I don't know what his stock is. I think they do.
I'll check.
If not, that's what I was
The
just fixing to do.
the
I would think
I
that
think
the waiting list isn't that long.
it says they're now in stock on the website, so it might be available.
Yeah, let's
The
see.
accessories are not. The accessories are not all available. Some of them may be, but uh, this thing, with what you get out of the box, you can do most of what you want to do with it. You can do indirect cooking on it just by cooking on one side and banking your coals to the other.
Yep.
But it says on the website he's got some stock. So if it might be worth shooting him an email and asking if you're concerned about that. But I believe they do have some. I think Joseph said something about that the other day. I'm not sure. Tanya, do we have any other questions we need to hit?
No, that was it.
No. Okay. Does anybody got anything else for us? Otherwise, I'm going to call it a night. I don't know where we're going to be next week. One of the things that Jeff and I are going to start doing once a month here on the live stream is we're going to do one night a month where we'll review a barbecue sauce and a barbecue rub, and it'll hopefully be 2 sauces and 2 rubs. Hopefully I'll do a sauce and a rub and Jeff can do a sauce and a rub, and do that maybe once a month. And we'll see how that pans out. And I'm going to see what I can do to get somebody, or maybe more than one person that's in the rub business, to come online and talk with us about rub business itself. I'd like to try
Ryan
to
will come back.
Ryan,
Lane.
he's not been on here before.
I thought we had Ryan Lane on here.
Mm-mm. I've not had Ryan Lane on here before. I'll invite him again. I'd like to have Ryan. I talked to him about it once.
I could have sworn we had Ryan on here.
No, I invited him one time and he said he would, but he kind of ghosted me after that. So I don't think he really wanted to do it. So maybe I'll ask him again. I haven't talked to him lately, but I couldn't get Malcolm Reed either. I tried to get Malcolm to come on, specifically to talk about rubs, and I couldn't get him on for that. Malcolm's too busy, and I feel that Matt Pittman's probably not going to be interested in something like that either. But maybe I can find somebody else that's in a larger piece of the rub market to
Mo Cason.
Mo. Well, Mo's got some rubs, but that's still not Mo's main business.
No.
I don't know. We'll see. I'll see if I can find somebody, but we'll shoot at it from there. Other than that, I'm going to wrap things up. I don't know what we'll talk about next week yet, but Jeff, you got any ideas for next week?
No, because I'm planning. I'm working on my 50th wedding anniversary. That we leave out next Friday. So.
Well, congratulations, Jeff.
You cruising? You're going on a cruise, right? Where you
Yep.
going?
Just over the Bahamas. Just
That's right.
a little
You told me
3-day
that.
cruise, taking the family.
Yeah.
Yep, 50 years.
Nice.
Awesome.
I could have pleaded guilty, and I would have been out of jail about 30 years ago.
Oh boy. Well.
Damn.
All righty. Well, we'll figure out
Jeff.
something for next week. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but I'll try to come up with something fun, and I'll get with Jeff on it, and we'll talk about it. So y'all have a good week, and we'll see you same bat time, same bat channel.
Cool. Adios.